Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning to you from WKYT News, and welcome. I'm Bill Bryan.
And I'm Rebecca Smith. Hope your day's off to a great start. It is Thursday, October 8th.
Or as you say, the day before Friday.
Yes.
Well, now at 6:30, the threat found on EKU's campus caused university officials to cancel classes for the rest of the week. Now other events are also being affected.
Hear from a Kentucky man who admitted to killing his wife out of mercy. He faces a 15-year prison sentence today.
And the owner of a northern Kentucky reptile shop who was bitten and almost squeezed to death by a 20-foot python, now home from the hospital. Hear what he has to say about that attack.
And we're off to a pleasant start on this Thursday, but as we progress through the day, we'll see our daytime highs jump to around 80 degrees, a little more cloud cover trying to mix in. And then some changes will start brewing for your Friday. We're right now in the mid and upper 50s throughout most of the area. Let's break down the rest of your Thursday, though, before we start talking about that change. We'll spike, as I mentioned, close to 80 degrees. Temperatures fall, and they really fall going into the weekend. I will track all of that change coming up.
All right, let's get right to the news.
Lots of changes this week on EKU's campus after a death threat was found scrawled in a campus bathroom.
That threat said, "Kill all by 10/8, which is today, October 8th. Because of that threat, EKU canceled all classes for today and tomorrow, and the school is making other changes as well. WKYT's Mark Barber is live for us on the EKU campus this morning to explain all the circumstances. Mark, good morning.
Good morning, Bill. The alarming threat has many people on edge here, so EKU is trying to play it safe. Their football game that was supposed to happen at 7 p.m. tonight here at the Roy Kidd Stadium behind me is being moved off campus due to that threat. Now that game against Tennessee Tech will be played at Georgetown College's Toyota Stadium. Now this morning, the concerns about campus safety are growing as new ominous threats are circulating on social media. That first threat was found written on a bathroom wall in the Powell building on Sunday. It said, "Kill all by October 8th. That day is finally here, and the university has canceled classes for the rest of the week. More alarming threats against EKU are now circulating on social media site Snapchat and online message boards, fueling the anxiety that many students have been dealing with since the weekend. The school is offering a $10,000 reward. It is bringing in some tips, but the person behind the graffiti threat is still out there. Now, police do want students to know that they have been increasing their patrols on campus since that first threat was found on Sunday. They say they're going to continue those increased patrols around campus. They want people to know that they will be out here today, and they will be out here in force. Live in Richmond, Mark Barber, WKYT.
All right, Mark, thank you very much. We'll stay on top of the story. And a southern Kentucky man who says he killed his wife in an act of mercy is facing up to 15 years in prison when he is sentenced today. The shooting renewed the debate over the right to die. WKYT's Michelle Chamberlain is at our live desk with this report on that. Michelle?
Good morning. Chris Chumbley will be sentenced today. He faces 15 years in prison for what he is calling a mercy killing. Chumbley pleaded guilty last month to manslaughter for the August 2013 death of his wife, Virginia. Chumbley told WKYT that he killed his wife when she asked him to end her life. According to Chumbley, she was in pain as she suffered from breast cancer.
I shot her. Did you kill her? She died from my shots. She told me she wanted me to end the pain. I said, Jay, all I've got is what the doctors gave you, the medicine, the pain pill. And she said, no. She said, I've took enough of them. I want you to stop my pain for good.
Chumbley's case brings to light the debate over mercy killings. Just this week, California became the 5th state to allow terminally ill patients to end their own lives. Governor Jerry Brown signed the End of Life Option Act on Monday. The guidelines are 2 doctors must determine that a patient has 6 months or less to live, and 2 witnesses must be present, one of who cannot be a family member. The patient must also have the mental ability to make a decision for his or herself. Now, Chumbley and prosecutors disagreed over how long his wife had to live. He said she only had weeks. Prosecutors believe it was longer than that. Chumbley will be sentenced later today in Laurel County. At the live desk, Michelle Chamberlain, WKYT.
Well, a former Central Kentucky teacher will be in court today to face accusations that she had sex with a student. Brandy Whitaker faces several charges, including rape, sodomy, and sexual abuse. She taught biology at Madison Southern High School, but has since resigned. Berea police say she admitted to having sex with one of her students over the summer. The Richmond Register reports that the victim's father asked police to drop the case. A South Carolina coroner has identified 2 Kentucky-based workers who died in historic flooding. Robert Vance of Lexington and Ricky McDonald of Chesapeake, Ohio, worked for Nicholasville-based R.J. Corman Railroad. Investigators say the 2 men and 3 others were in a truck that went off a washed-out road near Columbia. 3 men escaped the truck. A spokesperson for R.J. Corman says that the workers were among 95 people the company sent to the Carolinas to help Norfolk Southern repair rail lines damaged in the flooding.
The time this morning is 6:36 on WKYT this morning, and we now know the name of a soldier killed in a training accident at a Kentucky military base. Officials at Fort Campbell identify the soldier as Private First Class Kevin Rodriguez. He was shot by another soldier this week during a live fire training exercise. The 22-year-old enlisted in the Army 2 years ago. He is survived by his parents who live in New Jersey. The investigation into his death is ongoing. Hillary Rodham Clinton says that jail time was the right thing for a Kentucky clerk who refused to issue marriage licenses to same-sex couples. Speaking in Iowa, the Democratic presidential candidate says Rowan County Clerk Kim Davis was, quote, treated as she should have been treated. Davis spent 5 days in jail for defying a court order and refusing to license gay marriages. Several Republican presidential candidates have defended Davis. Clinton says people are entitled to their private beliefs, but that officials who take an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States should do just that.
Well, I think what happened to Kim Davis was the right thing. She violated the law, and therefore she was arrested. And when she was released, she had to agree that she would not stand in the way of doing her public duty under the Constitution.
Clinton spoke at Cornell College in Mount Vernon, Iowa, as part of a 2-day swing through that leadoff caucus state. She also pledged to fight for gun control measures and immigration reform.
Well, Clinton's comments came on the same day that Casey County Clerk Casey Davis said his office is issuing marriage licenses again, but reportedly they're only being issued to heterosexual couples. Davis, Rowan County Clerk Kim Davis, and Whitley County Clerk Kay Schwartz all stopped issuing marriage licenses after the U.S. Supreme Court legalized same-sex marriage nationwide. So far, Kim Davis is the only one who has faced a lawsuit. The man who was attacked by a 20-foot python, can you imagine?
Right.
Oh, in his northern Kentucky store, talking now about this frightening experience.
I mean, it bit him and wrapped around him. Terry Wilkins is now back home. He's doing much better. He owns the captive-born reptile shop in Newport. On Monday, he says he was cleaning out the snake's cage when it suddenly thought his arm was a predator.
We thought it was feeding day, and he reached out and grabbed my elbow, and that's where the fun began.
So that was a good attitude about it all. By the time police got there, they say Wilkins was unconscious and the snake had wrapped itself around him. Police were able to free Wilkins from the snake and put it back into its cage. Wilkins says he has 24 stitches from the bite on his arm. He is expected to make a full recovery. The city of Lexington could change how events like this week's Luke Bryan concert at Talon Winery are regulated from this point forward. Lexington police say the concert caused traffic to back up for 8 miles along Tates Creek Road. Some fans told us they couldn't even get to the concert because of all of the traffic, and it took until 4 o'clock in the morning to get everyone out of the concert area. City leaders say a 2006 Board of Adjustments ruling gives wineries the ability to hold events as long as that is not the primary purpose of their business. Talon Winery says there were not any major problems.
Ironman Louisville is Sunday, but the nearly 3,000 people who signed up for the race are still waiting to hear if the swim portion will even happen. An algae bloom in the Ohio River may keep swimmers out. The Great Ohio River Swim in Cincinnati has already been canceled this weekend due to algae blooms. State officials are testing the water all week to make sure it's safe.
Well, there's a number of symptoms, and they could be rashes, They could be flu-like symptoms. It could be, difficulty breathing or other symptoms that you could associate with just being sick.
Organizers for Louisville's Ironman say that they'll wait for more tests to come back tomorrow before making a final decision. If the swimming event is canceled, the running and biking events will still go on as planned on Sunday. Well, a Kroger store in northern Kentucky is going high-tech. The Cincinnati-based company installed digital price tags in its Cold Spring store. The tags are larger and easier to read than traditional plastic tags. Kroger says that the digital tags provide real-time product information. If successful, Kroger may roll out the high-tech price tags to other stores in the area. I think that's a great idea because sometimes those little labels are hard to see.
Right. It'll be interesting. I guess they can make quick adjustments. To any information on those tags.
Hopefully coming to all the Krogers. That'd be great. Well, today's weather makes it a good one to stop off at the track.
And do some good. It is a Make-A-Wish Day out at Keeneland. The annual event raises money to help grant the wishes of Kentucky kids who are battling life-threatening medical conditions. 9 local children who have experienced the power of a wish come true will be at Keeneland today to help drum up support. There are currently 150 eligible Wish kids here in the state. So we hope they have a good day for that out there today.
Oh, yeah.
Looks like the weather's really going to be nice for it.
Yeah, it's going to be nice, and we're going to hear more from Jim Caldwell up in a little bit.
We'll get that in a bit, but right now let's check live drive traffic. It is 6:41, and let's go to Officer Don with our check on things. Good morning. Oh, we don't have Don. We got
He's
the
busy.
We got the busy signal earlier, if you were along. But as you can see, it's busy along New Circle and Woodhill this morning, and folks are moving along there. No reports of any early issues this morning, and that is good. The interstate is running fine. Man o' War is picking up traffic volume at this point, but we have no reports of any early problems. So we'll keep you informed as we head toward the morning rush on your Thursday.
Yeah.
And we have a lot more news coming up on WKYT this morning.
Well, they were taken over the course of 60 years, but these photos have a lot in common, actually. One family is keeping a picture day tradition alive. Coming up after weather.
And we'll be tracking a lot of sunshine out there for you today. But you see this big mass of showers, thunder showers? That's on the move, and it's going to change things up for us. We'll take a closer look in just a couple of minutes.